Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Josh. This is Jsurbanadventures. Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something a little different than usual. We're just going to be sitting here in the studio and I'm going to be explaining to you guys how to dreadlock hair. I'm going to explain all the different methods and I'm going to go over the ones that I used for my dreads. We're going to talk about all the things you'll need to get started, everything good like that. This is going to be the first video in a series. The next video in the series will be how to maintain and clean your dreadlocks, and we'll go over stuff like that in the second video. And then the third video will be frequently asked questions about the dreads. So drop all your questions down in the comment section and I will get to those in the third video. The last video of the series, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to be me cutting off these almost 10-year-old dreadlocks. That's why I'm making the video. I've been saying I was going to make it since I started the channel, and I've just been delaying because it's not really what the channel is about. We do like adventures and lifestyle stuff, but lots of people ask me about the dreads, so I'm going to make a little series of how to do them. If you ever want to start your own dreads, you'll be able to do it on your own. But let's get into the video right now. Alright guys, so first things first, I'm going to go through all the different things that you need before you start your dreadlocks. I'm going to recommend you check out a website called naughtyboy.com. I've been meaning to email them and see if they would like sponsor this video or something like that since I'm plugging them, but I never got around to it. It's a Canadian company. They make great dreadlock supplies. I've used it for all, the whole time that I've had dreads, I've used their stuff, but I've found other replacements, which we'll get into either in this video or the next video. But naughtyboy.com, check it out, guys. It's a pretty cool website. But let's get into what you'll need. So first thing first, you're gonna need 3 to 6 inches of growth on your hair. So one of the hardest things about when you want to start dreadlocks, when you decide you're gonna do it, is the anticipation. It's like when I decided I can do this, all my life I wanted them. The reason I wanted dreadlocks was because they look cool. Basically, that's all it boils down to. I like the way they look. Auto Rocket, when I was a kid on Nickelodeon, if you guys know about Rocket Power, Auto Rocket had the little curly Q dreads, and I was like, that looks cool, even though he's a cartoon, I want those. And other characters on shows, the cool hip stoner guy would always come up with some dreads, and I'd be like, I want some of those. But anyway, the first thing you got to do is you got to grow your hair. So I say 3 to 6 inches minimum of 3 to 6 inches. And also one thing, a little disclaimer at the beginning of this video, this is all relative to white people hair. I'm not trying to sound like, the R word, but this is for my type of hair. I also go into a little bit of like of Asian types of hair when I talk about the crochet method and the different methods. But the only method we're not going to be talking about is if you have I don't know the word for it. It's like G3 type hair. Maybe I'll Google it in a second. But there's different types of hair. Different people from different cultures, different backgrounds have different types of hair. And if you're like African American, your hair is going to be much easier to dread, and you can do it at shorter lengths, and it'll look cool. But if you're white like me, you need at least 3 to 6 inches. And I say at least because basically what's going to happen is you can do it with 3 inches of hair, but you're going to have little curly cues sticking up straight up everywhere, like little spikes on your head. And it's going to look kind of dumb. So you want more like 9 or 10 inches. But if you can't wait, you can't hold off, 3 to 6 inches minimum of hair growth. Aim for 6, aim for longer than that. But basically the earlier you start, the better. Because your dreads, if you start them earlier, once they're mature dreads, which is about a year in, you'll have, they'll be matured when your hair is shorter. So by the time that your dreads are longer, it'll look better. But anyway, also you're going to need, and the only place I found that you can get this stuff is naughtyboy.com. It's dread clay. It's basically a pre-dreading wash. So a lot of people will tell you, dreadlocks are nasty because you have to like not wash your hair at all to get dreadlocks. Well, that's not true. Actually, oily dirty hair is going to be harder to dread. You actually want dry, crispy, clean hair. And the way you can do that, you can either go to the beach and swim in the salt water and then hang out in the sun all day. Sunlight, salt water will dry your hair out. It'll make it crispy, easy to work with when you do the dreads. But they also make this stuff called dread clay, which is basically like a bar of shampoo soap with clay in it. And when you wash your hair with it, it makes your hair very dry and frizzy and crispy. It's pretty cool. When I washed my hair with it, my hair was like poofed up like an afro. And so you're going to want to get a hold of some of that. I don't know who makes it other than Naughty Boy. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but it is very helpful. It makes the methods that I'm about to explain to you easier. You're going to need a fine tooth comb. Hold on, I just threw it off the table. You're going to need a fine tooth comb, not like this. So you can use this if you have very fine hair. If you have smooth, thin, fine hair, you could use something like this with fine teeth. But what's better is I'll put a picture of it right here. Actually, right here. I'll put a picture up of it. Naughty Boy makes a comb. It's basically like a dog flea comb, or if you've ever seen a lice kit to get rid of lice, it'll have these metal fine tooth combs where the teeth are almost touching each other. You want something like that. Naughty Boy has a really good one with a strong wooden handle, and it's real strong. For my hair, I got that one and it worked great. Again, I'll have the picture of it, but that is for back combing. That's one of the methods that we're about to talk about. You're also going to need a 1mm crochet hook or less. So this is from Walmart. You can find these at almost every Walmart. The smallest one you're going to find is 1mm. I like the 1mm. I've heard that you can get smaller ones from like art stores like Michael's and things like that. You can get, 0.8mm, 0.7mm, and I've heard those work better, but I've always just went to Walmart to get these 1mm ones. You don't want bigger than that. You don't want any bigger than 1mm, and even 1mm could cause problems, which we'll talk about. But the smallest crochet hook you can find, at least 1mm, smaller if you can get one. You're going to need something to wash your hair with after you get the dread. So ideally, you'd want a shampoo bar, a bar of shampoo of all natural. You don't want any additives or anything in it, because those additives, if you've ever seen soap scum and mildew in your shower, well, if you use like Pantene Pro V or whatever, any of those like Axe shampoo, anything like that that has a bunch of additives in it and it's liquid form, you put that in your hair, it's going to get stuck in there, and you're going to get soap scum and mildew in the core of your dreadlocks, and it's going to make them stink very badly. You're going to smell like a wet dog. But I don't want to get too much into the maintenance stuff in this video, but I use this stuff now. I used to use a bar that I got on naughtyboy.com. I'll put a picture up of it again, but again, it's pretty expensive and a lot of money for shipping. So if you can get this Dr. Bronner's hemp Castile soap, I'll put a picture of all the different kinds. They got different smells. It's all natural. Now they say this isn't good to wash your hair with because the pH levels basically will make your head itchy and give you dandruff and stuff like that. I experienced that a little bit, which basically when that happens, when it gets itchy and dandruffy, you just got to wash your hair again. And if you're washing your hair twice a week, then you'll be fine. But this stuff is all natural, no additives. So even if it makes your head a little itchy, you're not going to have any problems with stinky, wet dog smelling dreads. So get you some of that. One thing I'll recommend you guys check out if you check out Naughty Boy is the Dreadlocks starter kit. It comes with everything that I just explained, all the necessary stuff you need to get started. And so that is it. Now let's talk about the 4 different methods that you can use to start dreadlocks. We'll talk about 5. Let's get into it. All right. So here's all the different ways that I know to start dreadlocks. So basically, you've got natural dreadlocks. Natural dreadlocks, when somebody tells you, oh, you have to not wash your hair to get those dreadlocks, when they say that, they're usually thinking of natural dreadlocks. If you see people that have like weird clumps of hair, specifically homeless people often will get this, where they have weird clumps of hair and it's all matted together. Or some people have nice looking natural locks, especially if they live near the beach, like I said, because the salt water and the sunlight is just great for dreads. And it is true that a lot of like homeless people have nasty dreadlocks with nasty stuff inside of their dreadlocks. And that does happen because they're sleeping outside and they're sleeping in the dirt and their hair is just getting matted and nasty. So yes, that does happen, but that's not the only way to get dreads, guys. So that's a legend. Ignore those people who say that. Those people aren't that smart. So natural dreadlocks, it's fine to wash your hair. When you wash your hair, you want to focus on washing your scalp and just letting the soap run through your hair, because you want to let it knot up, and you don't comb your hair. Don't ever comb your hair. So maybe that's where they get confused. They think it's washing, but the washing's okay, because like I said earlier, clean hair is easier to dread than oily, dirty hair. Okay, if your hair is oily, there's gonna be less friction for them, the different hairs to grab each other and to knot up naturally. So if your hair is real oily, it's not gonna dread. You want to get that oil out. You want your hair to be dry, crispy, and basically just don't comb your hair. You just don't comb your hair and let it grow. Don't mess with it. You can wash, that's fine, but don't comb it. And eventually, almost everybody's hair will mat eventually. This is the natural state of almost all hair types, except for like Asian hair types, because their hair is very smooth and very silky and very fine and very thin. I don't know if they could ever get natural dreads. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they can, but it would take a very long time. They could not comb their hair. So yeah, that's natural dreads. That's not what I have. What I have is about as close as you can get to natural dreads without having, I actually put these in, but I did not use any additives. I did not use any wax. If you notice, when I told you what you need to get started, I didn't mention any wax. That's a big debate in the dread community for starting dreadlocks. A lot of people say you got to use wax. A lot of people say don't use wax. I tested the wax out in some of the dreads that I got in my starter kit from Naughty Boy. I did not like it. Months later, you'll be feeling your dreads and you'll find little chunks of wax that you got to pull out of your hair. I don't like the wax. I'm not a fan of the wax. I don't think you need the wax. I'm going to tell you how to do it without the wax. So now we got the three methods, the three methods that I used. And what I did is a combination of all three. So I'm going to explain to you each one. So the first one is back combing. That's what you need that comb for. And basically, I've got a dread that I ripped out of my head here. Basically, back combing is, if you can see how the tip is still fine, here. Back combing, you just comb backwards. You comb from the end of your hair down. And what you'll do is you'll tease it and you'll make a clump of knots, a matted knot. So back combing, you could use back combing to do your entire head, do your whole dreads. But what I use back combing for is the base, the roots. I use the back combing with that metal, not with one of these, because my hair is just too thick and too tough for one of these combs. But you use one of those metal fine tube combs and you back comb to start your base, to make a tight base of matted mess in your dread, right? So that's the back combing method. Then the next method is called twist and rip. Twist and rip is what I used for the majority of the length of all my dreads. I back comb to get the root ball tight, and then I'd use twist and rip to do the whole dread. What you can do is you can practice twist and rip as your hair grows. Once your hair is pretty long, you can grab some loose hair. Like, see, I've got some right here. You can grab a little bit of loose hair around your neckline, like this, and twist and rip. What you do, you take a section. So see, this is undreaded. This is new growth. And basically what you want to do, you grab that little section of hair, just, a little small section, you twist it up, and then you grab two random chunks. You grab a chunk here and a chunk here, and then you pull it back. You twist it, and you grab two chunks and you rip it. You rip it back, and you know it's working when you hear hairs breaking and popping. You're ripping, and see, as you can see, it's already starting to dread up right here. So I can just keep twist. This isn't enough hair. You want to go a little thicker than this. Well, it depends if you want your dreads fat or if you want your dreads thin. Mine are kind of in the middle, but basically, and you'll get to it. At first, this is going to be kind of weird. That's why I say practice on your neck. As it grows out, you can put a dread in, and then you can comb it out. It's going to take a while, but you can comb it out. And then you know, a few weeks later, try it again, do another one, and just keep practicing before you do your entire head. Keep practicing on that one spot until you can make a nice looking dread, because at first this is going to feel awkward to you, but now I'm like pro at it because I've done it for years. But basically you just twist and then you rip, and now this is, again, like I said, this is too thin, but basically we have a dread right there starting. The last method that we're going to talk about is crocheting. That's what you need the crochet hook for. So in Taiwan and in Asia, in hair salons in Asia, dreads are kind of a niche popular thing. Like, people will pay a lot of money to get fake dreads dreaded into their hair just to go out for a night or the weekend or whatever, and then they'll take them out. And so what they do is, you know, the hair that they cut off people, they save it in a basket, and they can basically weave dreads into people's hairs over in Taiwan. You can watch a video of this on YouTube. Just Google Taiwan dreading, crochet dreading, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, what you're doing with the crochet hook, and you can do, again, this applies to all of these methods. You can do backcombing for your entire head for the full length of dreads. You can do twist and rip and nothing but twist and rip. You can do crochet and nothing but crochet. I did a mixture of all three, and I found it worked out pretty well. But basically, to crochet, what we're doing is, and it's kind of different when you're starting, but I already have a dread here. And see, this is also good for maintenance. In the maintenance video, we'll talk more about this, but you know, when you have congos where two dreads are growing together and you want to kind of make them one, basically, this is the same thing that I would do with this little thing. So once I twist and rip it, I've got the dread basically, but you see how it's all crazy looking. There's hair sticking off everywhere. What we do, once we're at that point, we take the crochet hook, we stick it through the center of the dread, like so, and then you wrap some of the loose hairs. See how there's a lot of, hold on, I want to get you guys in the white. So, see, you can't see every hair, but there's loose hairs coming off of this thing, and you can take some of those loose hairs, wrap them around your crochet hook, and then you've got to know which way your hook is pointing, and you push with your hook into the cluster of hairs and you pull them through. Basically, that's all you do. And you know, it seems like, oh, well, that would take forever to do. No, you get pretty fast at it. Like, for big chunks, you can take them and you can actually wrap them around. But for the most part, what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be doing this really quickly. You're just going to stab it through, grab some hairs and pull them out. Stab it through, grab some hairs, pull it out. Stab it through, grab hairs, pull it out. So it becomes faster. Like, I can't really do it with that in my hand like that, but so a dread like this, where we've got, you know, loose spots, we've got little bumps and stuff, we can basically take it through, pull it just like this. And you get quick at it. One thing I will say, this could do some damage to your dreads. One reason, I think that the crochet hook is one of the reasons this dread fell off. As your dreads grow longer, you might get like soft spots in them. I think that may have to do with the crochet hook. And I read this, a lot of people are saying this, they don't like the crochet method because it damages the hair. So that's why I'm not telling you, you can do your whole dreads. If you just want temporary dreads, you can do it all with the crochet hook. Once you get good at the method and you get fast with it, you know, you get used to it, you get used to the motions. But basically the motion is you go through and then you push the hook towards you and pull it out. So it's a curving motion. So see, the hook is pointing that way. So I would go in, curve, out, curve. And I'd be curving always when I'm doing it. So it's a much smaller motion, but it's basically like that. And again, you can test this out as you're practicing on your little clump of hair down here before you commit to doing your whole head. You can do your twist and rip, you can do your back combing, and then you can come here and you can tighten up this little thing you got here with your crochet hook. And you just want to twist it up a little bit, make it nice and tight, not too tight. But then you just want to start going through, and you can't really see what I'm doing. It's hard to show it, but basically it tightens it up, and you'll get better at it. It'll feel weird at first, but again, keep practicing on your neck ones and you'll get better at using the crochet hook. But I just use the crochet hook mainly for that finishing touch. Once you've done the back combing, you've done the twist and rip, you use the crochet hook just to go through and tighten up the dread. And then for maintenance, you'll notice that your dreads will get loose every now and then. Use this to tighten them up. Any new growth, you can use the crochet hook to pull the new growth. See, I haven't done any maintenance on my dreads in like 4 years, but for the first 3 years that I had them, I was hardcore at it, like hours and hours every day. I was always messing with my dreads. I was on the train messing with my dreads, always. For like the first 3 to 5 years, I was super about the maintenance every single day. And so that's why they look pretty decent, you know, pretty uniform and things like that. But once you get to a certain point, you kind of just stop doing that. It gets old. And that was right around the 3, 4, 5 year mark. I started slowing down. By like 5 years, I was like, I'm done with maintenance. And now I haven't done maintenance in like 3 or 4 years. These dreads are like 8 or 9 years old. I'm not sure exactly. I'm bad with time, but but see how you have a lot of new growth. So this new growth, what I would do is I would take a dread and I would twist some of this new growth into it, and then I would pull it in with the crochet hook. But we're going to go over that more in depth in the maintenance video. But those are the methods. There's one other method, which is twisting, which is what I think that like black people use for their hair, because their hair is more curly and wiry. And all they have to do is really twist it when it's short and just always be twisting it. And it'll naturally twist and dread itself. But white people hair doesn't really do that. Like I've heard of people ask me, oh, did you just twist them and twist them and twist them? And they did that? No, that doesn't really work with white people hair. Or if it does over a long period of time, they're not like real dreads. Like if somebody braids their hair and then just leaves the braids in forever, those aren't real dreads. Eventually they will basically be mature dreads. After years and years and years, they'll kind of turn into dreads, but most dreadheads won't count those as real dreads. And if you just twist and twist and twist and put a rubber band, most dreadheads aren't going to count those as real dreads either. You have to have knotted, matted hair, and they're not mature dreads. You're not a dreadhead. You don't have mature dreads until you've had them for at least a year. So just so you know, if you use a crochet hook and dread your hair up for one night and then comb it out the next day, you were never a dreadhead. Sorry. But anyway, those are the methods. Now I'm going to go real quick through the steps of how you put the dreads in. Okay, guys, here are the steps to doing the dreads. Step 1, grow your hair out. The more length, the better. You want a lot of hair. The longer your hair is, the better. I was aiming for 6 inches. And then once I got to 6 inches, I kind of liked the way my hair looked, because it goes through this phase when I always had short hair, like a 2 on the sides and a 3 on the top, like a crew cut, fade, whatever. When I started growing my dreads, there gets to a phase where your hair just looks stupid. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to cut it so bad. But you just keep letting it growing. And then once it got to where it was actually hanging down, I was like, dang, I like the way my hair looked. So I just let it stay long and let it keep growing. And when I finally did my dreads, it was like shoulder length. I'll throw some pictures up if I can find it of when I first did my dreads right over here. But my hair was about shoulder length. Shoulder length's good. Aim for shoulder length hair. You know, long hair gives you room to work with. Step 2, wash your hair with the dread clay. You want to wash your hair right before you start dreading with that dread clay. If you can find it, or if you can find it on Naughty Boy, or if you can find a similar version of it, get some of it, because it helps a lot. You don't want to be dreading dirty hair. You don't want to be dreading oily hair. You want to wash your hair right before you start the dreading process. So use that dread clay. It'll make your hair all frizzy and poofy and crispy and crunchy and easy to dread. All right. Step 3, section off your hair. So some people don't do this. I think it's how I did it, and it worked well. You section off your hair with rubber bands. Section off put little rubber bands, and you should do a brick lay pattern. That way you don't have straight rows. If you want straight lines or straight rows of locks, then you can just do, you can just section it off that way. But I'd say section it off in a bricklay pattern, where like you go 1, 2, and then the next one you move it over a little bit and go 1 and 2, so they kind of go back and forth like bricks. That way, you don't just have lines through your hair, because if you do them all in a row, you're gonna have lines and it's gonna look weird. But step 4, you're gonna dread each section one at a time. So you got your crispy crunchy hair, you've sectioned everything off with rubber bands, and then you're gonna go through and you're just gonna, each dread, you're just gonna back comb it. You're gonna get a tight little root ball started off there, and then you're gonna start twist and rip. You're gonna twist it up, tear it back, twist it up, tear it back, twist it up, tear it back, until you've gone about the whole full length of the dread. And then you're gonna take your crochet hook and you're gonna tighten up the dread, and then you move on to the next one. It took me, I think it took me 28 hours to do my whole head. And I did that over like a 3-day period, pretty much 3 days, like 10 hours a day for 3 days, totally by myself. And took a lot of time. I was inebriated on some things, so that helped. I was able to focus for very long periods of time on just dreading my hair. I wouldn't recommend you do that. I'd recommend you get somebody to help you and let them watch this video so they can learn how to do it, and learn how to do it with a friend or a significant other or whatever. And then both of you do it. It'll cut the time in half. It'll be much easier. Also, it's easier if you have somebody doing the back, because it sucks and it hurts your arms to be like this for hours and hours and hours. It will take you a very long time by yourself. It's going to take a while. Step 5, don't wash your hair for a week. So now this is where the washing people say, oh, you can't wash your hair. And it's like, you can, but I would say after you put the locks in for 1 week, don't wash your hair. This isn't because you need, grease in your hair, or you need wax, or you need oils, or any of that crap. This is just because if you wash your hair, you're going to disrupt. You need the locks to like be able to be at peace and lock in. So what you're going to do to keep your head from smelling is you're going to wear a bag on your head when you take a shower. If you don't let your hair get wet, then your hair doesn't get as stinky as fast. Like, a lot of people know this, that you really shouldn't be washing your hair every single day. It's not good for your scalp. It's not good for your hair. So you can go every day, or you can go every other day, every 2 or 3 days, and wash your hair, and that's fine. You can go even longer than that without your hair getting dirty or stinky, as long as you don't let your hair get wet, especially when you have dreads, because the dreads will lock that moisture inside. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a shower cap, or you're just going to get a grocery bag and tie it. Like, that's what I usually do. And when you take a shower, you put a bag on your head. That way your hair stays dry. Now, for that week when you're not washing your hair, I'd recommend you don't do any super strenuous physical activity. Don't do any construction work. You don't want to get dust, and you don't want to sweat, because if you're not washing your hair for a week, it will start to stink. Just take it easy for a week. When you decide to do the dreads, you're going to need like a week off of work. You're going to need a couple days to put them in, and then you're going to a couple days to just relax around the house and don't do anything too strenuous, so you don't get sweaty and you don't get stinky dreads. After a week, you can wash your hair. Again, preferably you want to use a bar shampoo, a natural, no additives bar shampoo soap. Naughty Boy makes one. I don't know about the Dr. Squatch soap that I always see, but it looks very much, and based off the ingredients, it looks a lot like the shampoo bars that I would use for my dreads. You can check that out. Basically, all natural soap, bar soap is what you want to use. Dr. Bronner's is all natural. It's Castile soap, so it's not going to be the right pH that you want. It may cause you some irritation. You don't want to use anything with any additives. You don't want to use any like regular shampoos that you'd buy at the store. You want something all natural, made, and if you can find something made specifically for dreadlocks, use that. It's going to be a little pricey. You might pay $20, $25 for a bar of shampoo. And then step 6, you can get something called locking activator from naughtyboy.com, or you can make it yourself. It's pretty much like aloe vera and lemon juice and a few other things. Look it up. Look up Dreadlock locking activator. You can get the ingredients for the Naughty Boy version. It's basically all natural, like a hair gel, and I used it. It worked great. Basically, you put it into your locks, but it's not like hair gel. It's not like sticky. Um, it doesn't get crusty and sticky like hair gel does. It's something that you can put in your hair and just let it go away in time. But it's like aloe vera, basically. It's a gel like aloe with other natural stuff in it, and you twist it. You put it into the locks and you rub it in. We're gonna explain root rolling, palm rolling, and all that stuff in the next video. But basically, palm rolling is something you're gonna want to do for maintenance. But you can put the locking activator in, you roll it into the dread, and then you blow dry your whole head until it all dries in, and that helps activate your locks, helps them lock up faster. It works great. And now once you have the dreads in, you got through your week of no washing it. You can still shower, like I said, you can still shower. Just don't wash your hair for like a week, and then after that, we'll talk about how to wash in the next video and all the good stuff. But just prepare for a whole lot of work, because for about the next 3 years, you're going to be, if you want them to look nice and good, you're going to be putting in a lot of work, at least an hour a day. But I mean, I would do more than that when I first got them, but I had a lot of free time on my hands. But prepare for a lot of work. It's not easy until eventually, after a certain amount of time, you can just stop doing everything altogether, and then it becomes super easy. Like, I haven't had a haircut in 10 years. I don't do anything with these. So now it's easy, but for the first 3 years, lots of work. But that's it, guys. That's how you do dreadlocks. That is this video. Stay tuned for episode 2. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you know when I make new videos, so you know when episode 2 of this series comes out. Be sure to drop any comments and questions that you have down in the comment section so I can answer them in the final Q&A video. And yeah, check me out, patreon.com, Jsurbanadventures. Check me out on twitch.tv/Dragon Ball Junkie, youtube.com/Dragon Ball Junkie for my gaming content. And that's where we hang out in this little studio, play some games on the tube, do some card gaming, all the good stuff. So check it all out, guys. I am going to head out. Thank you for watching. It's been great. See you later. Watch the video playlist I got here. I'm out. Peace.